My name is Kaitlin Bennett, and I'm the most hated conservative woman on the internet.
Kaitlin Bennett was one of those political figures that just kind of came up during the culture war. In 2018, she graduated with a degree in biology, somehow.
No, literally, you either have XX or XY.
Okay, I'm just gonna...
What's your major?
Psychology.
And you don't know about chromosomes and male and female?
Kaitlin began a path to notoriety when she posted a picture of herself with a gun outside Kent State University with a sign saying, "Come and take it." Obviously provocative, it was just trying to kickstart media attention about her. The vast majority of her content is designed to be provocative, when in actual reality, it just shows a surface level understanding of the arguments she's trying to represent. For example, she mocks Elizabeth Warren for pretending to be Native American, when in actual reality, a lot of leftists don't like her because of this, and she was trying to present it as oh, these leftists think that cultural appropriation bad, but look at this leftist. The only people who tend to like her are ID poll liberals that leftists don't like anyway. As with most conservatives, she's not aware of or refuses to admit the differences between leftists and liberals. In many of her videos, she whined about the hate she receives, when a lot of her content is designed to make that reaction. She was obviously trying to become another Milo Yiannopoulos, but failed miserably, even though his fame only really lasted for a year. Kaitlin, on the other hand, just became notorious for a few months and then completely died off. Maybe it's because she's unbelievably bad at trying to provoke, or maybe it's just because this trope has been tried on us before. I personally think it's just a mix of both. Playing the victim when you're trying to provoke is a bad idea because the only people who will care are the few devoted fans you found along the way. But things get strange because she's tried to take down a lot of YouTubers' videos.
So she filed a copyright strike against me because she didn't like what I had to say in my video reacting to her reacting to videos.
You can't have it both ways. You can't intentionally piss people off to get response videos and then try to take them down. It doesn't work like that. And if you try to talk about tech censorship all the time, it's hypocritical to engage in the exact things that you hate. It's almost like these conservative types only care about censorship when it affects them. Kaitlin and her husband own Liberty Hangout, which is a YouTube channel and website. She's now the face of it. The black and yellow background of Liberty Hangout is the flag of their supposed ideology, anarcho-capitalism. Anarcho-capitalists believes in free markets with no rules or regulations, believing that this leads to the best outcomes for the people of the country. It's a garbage ideology that ignores that corrupt organisations literally have no bounds. As much as they talk about rights, they fail to see the other sources of oppression other than state systems. Regardless, I've never really seen an Ancap that's consistently shown to me that they're either a libertarian or anarchist, and I don't think Kaitlin is one either, and more on that later. Liberty Hangout is known for galaxy brain takes such as comparing slavery to taxes.
Joe was born a slave on a plantation. Joe would go into the field each day doing hard labor, but Joe wasn't allowed to keep all of his earnings. Joe had to give them to his master or he would be whipped. But the other slaves on the plantation told him that it was for the general good of the plantation. They said that the cotton taken from him ran the plantation. If we use this story and just change some of the words, do the principles change? Here's Joe. Joe was born a citizen of a country. Joe would go to work each day doing hard labor. But Joe wasn't allowed to keep all of his earnings. Joe had to give them to his government, or he would be thrown in jail.
It's funny how landlords leeching off the working class is a better comparison to slavery than what this is. Even though it's not even a good comparison, at least it makes more sense. I don't think it's surprised any of you to find out that Kaitlin has worked with InfoWars in the past, known for their prize-range lunatic Alex Jones.
Look it up for yourself. I mean, this is what they're... What do you think tap water is? It's a gay bomb, baby. I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Serious crap!
Both Liberty Hangout and Kaitlin became notorious when they were talking to university students about those pesky transgenderisms putting urinals in women's bathrooms. Truly, the issues that really matter.
If you were to walk into the women's restroom and you saw a woman with a penis there using a urinal, would you be concerned or would you accept it and be inclusive? What would you do?
It's none of my business. If they're in the women's restroom, then they identify as a woman.
Okay, don't question anything about men walking into women's restrooms ever. They're just there because they're women. They're not predators, no.
The trans bathroom issue is one of the most non-issues Conservatives talk about, and it's a convenient proxy for the biggest fear about them. And even though experts saying that letting trans people into women's bathrooms doesn't pose a threat to them at all, the goalpost keeps moving from trans women are a threat to non-passing women shouldn't use women's bathrooms to, well, hypothetically, a man could go into a women's bathroom and rape them. This talking point has been recycled again and again for whatever minority seems to be getting right. For example, segregationists talking about how apparently black women were a threat to women in bathrooms, as well as gay men in men's bathrooms. It's not really a problem, and f*** off J.K. Rowling. It's just a way for bigots to cloak their bigotry in a thinly veiled problem that's never been a problem for the general populace. Gendered bathrooms are stupid anyway. I've not really seen anyone passionate about urinals, and splitting them into two just causes unnecessary queuing. Liberty Hangout is one of those channels that crams everything bad about conservatives into one channel. When she's not seeking out easy targets on campus, she's constantly fear-mongering about Antifa and grouping all leftists and liberals as communists that want to steal the ivory tower from your living room. I wish us leftists were as unified as they make us out to be. But no, we can't have nice things.
So I'm being ejected from a public event?
This is an event that we pay for.
Right.
This is an event that we have bought the space.
It is a private event, therefore it's considered private property.
It's a
Therefore,
public event and it's open to the public.
this is what I've been told by the campaign staff. I am following their orders.
So you work for the campaign staff?
We are contracted to them. I'm just doing what they've asked me to do.
It says that this is open to the public. This is a public event. It's not private property. It's not a private event. Yet there's a socialist inside who supports nothing along the lines of private property. But he's going to use it to his advantage to get people that he doesn't like from asking him hard questions. Bernie, why'd you kick me out of your rally at your town hall meeting in Ohio? Why'd you kick me out?
So here she's just complaining about not being able to enter a free event and then harassing Bernie Sanders over it, saying that he apparently kicked her out, and then ranting about how it's hypocritical for him to do this because apparently he doesn't believe in private property. I don't think that's even a position Bernie holds, and even then he's just abiding by the rules of the system that's currently in place.
AOC is wanting to keep a list of Trump supporters. That's who's calling to do this. Does that worry you that a congresswoman is calling to keep a list of Trump supporters to reject them from polite society?
That's stupid. That's just like bringing back segregation back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Of course, this isn't remotely accurate to the tweets I saw cited by the media to support this claim. AOC is just trying to say, well, we should archive these tweets just for when they start denying their Trump support in the future. It's literally saying, hey, when these ideas are out in the mainstream, these people are gonna pretend that they never believed in them. We need to make sure we have evidence so they don't gaslight us.
We are running a huge sale at KaitlinBennett.org. A lot of things are 50 to 70% off on the site. Not only does it help me and fund what I do, it's something that's going to help your life, help you live a better life, a healthier life, and you need it. So if you brush your teeth, get toothpaste from KaitlinBennett.org instead of Walmart, who doesn't support what you guys support. They just banned open carry. You don't want to buy it from there. Buy it from KaitlinBennett.org. Support me and get the best toothpaste ever.
Shameless. Making people feel comfortable in their stores by not letting people wave their gun around isn't a real problem. Pushing fear-mongering narratives about liberals to sell toothpaste is something you'd only find on an Ancap channel.
Something based on the color of their skin.
Explain to me why 13% of black people are disenfranchised in this country.
So 13% of the population is what makes up black people?
Millions of people are disenfranchised because of the systems
Tell me
that
the
this
system.
country is based on.
Tell me the system.
Mass incarceration, the prison industrial complex, the military industrial complex are all perpetuated on the notion that black and brown bodies are less than white bodies.
So it's like you have this issue of mass incarceration because black people are, for the same crime, the same amount of times they're committed, they are incarcerated more times because they don't have resources to get a lawyer. They don't have resources to get any legal defense, so they're put in jail, right? Then they're stripped of the right.
So they're put in jail because they don't have a legal defense?
Yeah,
you have the right to an attorney.
You have the right to a paralegal. It's different. A private attorney has way more political power, way more social capital than a paralegal does.
It's really disappointing. You guys think so lowly of black people in this country that you think that they inherently do not have these resources. Why do you think black people are so below you?
These points by these leftists aren't substantiated as much as I'd like them to be, but they are really valid. Black Americans have been disenfranchised by multiple things in history, such as slavery, segregation, employment discrimination, housing discrimination. Arguments could be made that some of these things exist today, but what's apparent is with America's very poor income mobility for a well-developed country, it's very difficult to get out of poverty. If you're working paycheck to paycheck, the chances of you moving up the economic ladder inevitably decreases. Not owning a property also makes you suffer because it doesn't let you have the savings and tax benefits that come with owning a home. There are so many factors that contribute to this, so I'm sorry if I don't represent this issue very accurately.
We don't live in a society. I see different colors of people all around me every day.
Saying that we don't live in a racist society because you see people of other races all the time is laughable. Would you say the same thing in the Jim Crow era? You know, I don't think that death is real. I see people alive every day.
So where is a systemic issue? Where is a law that's in the system? Where's a policy that's in the system of systemic racism in our country?
Redlining, the war on drugs, just a few examples. Just because you talk to people who don't know what they're talking about doesn't mean that these problems don't exist. Arguably, this tactic of seeking out people who don't know what they're talking about is worse than Crowder and Shapiro's tactic of getting people to come to you on a campus. In fact, what Kaitlin is doing is actively malicious. It's not journalism. Her audience just wants to see the libs get owned. When I was on more of the conservative side of the spectrum, I used to spend a lot of the time trying to reaffirm my biases with videos like this, and it's partly because Kaitlin is trying to get people to believe in propaganda, and these things aren't really grounded in reality, so it's a lot harder to get people to believe in them. Usually this is just people trying to push a narrative for the wealthy upper class, but with Kaitlin, unfortunately, it's a lot more malicious than you would think. A few months ago, accusations came out about Liberty Hangout peddling neo-Nazi talking points, and I, as much as the next guy, don't really want to throw the Nazi label around haphazardly. The boy who called wolf trope is what caused people to coddle up to the conservative part of the political spectrum during the culture war. So I hope you can appreciate that I'm coming from this with a perspective of concern for throwing the Nazi label around like it's nothing. I assure you in this case it's well justified, and I'll start with the tamer things first. A lot of these tweets have been deleted, so I'll indicate which ones are still up, just in case they were faked. Okay, so first things first, Liberty Hangout is no way, shape or form libertarian. Here are some tweets from them rejecting the idea of democracy and also rejecting the idea that women should be able to vote. And this one is straight up worse. Next we have two tweets peddling the narrative of white genocide. White genocide is a neo-Nazi conspiracy theory that says that white people are being bred out and replaced by ethnic minorities, which is linked to ideas such as the Great Replacement. People say that white genocide is happening in the West, generally push the idea of an ethno-state, basically making it so only people of a specific race can live in an area. And this one here is just straight up Holocaust denial. Brilliant. I don't exactly know whether this one's real, it seems a bit on the nose. But this one, however, is literally 14 words. And 14 words, if you don't know, is a Nazi slogan. Of course, the person running the Liberty Hangout account may not be Kaitlin, it may be her husband. That would have been a weak point had someone not leaked Facebook Messenger chats showing her mask off, engaging in anti-Semitic behaviour. By the way, Marie is her middle name and it's also in her Twitter handle. Note that the triple brackets or parentheses is a dog whistle to imply that someone is Jewish. Imagine my shock! She looks Jewish. Coincidence? Hello, I'm back. Welcome home. Now we can go back to being normal Nazis. Jesus Christ, Kaitlin. Check out this article for all the screenshots. I can only understand some of these dog whistles. I've not spent enough time around Nazis. But yeah, this article does a good job of exposing this kind of behaviour from Kaitlin, so I'd definitely check it out.
YouTube, as we know it, is now completely dead. And if you support Donald Trump, your days here are now numbered. To us here on the right, big tech censorship isn't anything new. For years now, they've been targeting conservatives and making those of us still left on here have to censor ourselves just to maintain a social media presence. They tried to be subtle about it for a while, but once the election came around, they took the mask off and went full-blown communist, hiding dozens of President Trump's tweets, labeling anything as misinformation, and fact-checking anything that challenges mainstream media narratives.
So with that all being said, who is Kaitlin Bennett? Well, on the surface, she seems to be a provocative conservative, more on the lines of Crowder and Shapiro, yet worse in every single aspect. She's a bigot and has unfavourable views towards minorities and women. Looking deeper at the values she's hiding very poorly, she's most likely a neo-Nazi. She's a manipulative person who's pushing an agenda. She's now using her fame to charge people ridiculous amounts of money to watch her content privately, citing YouTube censorship for the reason why she's doing this, even though she's taken part in it. You're not an anarcho-capitalist, Kaitlin. You're a fascist trying to radicalise and profit off conservatives. Hi, this part of the video is unscripted, and I'm just gonna put this out here. I love making content and I really want to do it. The thing is, it's very hard getting off the ground, so any likes, any subscribes or any shares would be vastly appreciated. It matters a lot, each and every one of you at this kind of stage, because you know, this is my first video in a while. I've deleted all my other videos I've made before because I just want to start afresh. So I'm not new to this. At the same time, I've got to get back into the swing of things because this video is a bit all over the place. I did make a Patreon if you want to donate to it, but obviously I'm not expecting anyone to. It's more of a, hey, this is an option. If you want to see more of my content, then you know what to do. I'll try and put out as much content as I can, but realistically this is probably just going to end up being a portfolio for me. I'm not expecting for this channel to go anywhere. I just want to do what I want to do, and this is a passion of mine, so both politics and video making, so I hope you enjoy what I've got to offer. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.